So, I mean, you were at the sort of the beginning of surf film making.
I had no training, just, aspired to do it, and tell a story. But, had I ever gone to film school or something, I would have probably never done it because I would have realized I couldn't. I just, this stuff I got out a couple months ago. I was going to look through it, and I never got around to it. But I mean, I got, all these are full. I've got closets down the hall that's full. I got the attic that's full. Years later, I got invited to go to the SC and talk to film students, and they'd ask me all these questions about how we did it, and they just laugh, because, well, what'd you do for a work print? We didn't. We just showed the original film, Well, how'd you edit it? We just had a little viewer, and I'd, crank it through and close my eyes and open them again and try and visualize the cut.
What movies did you cut on this table?
Endless Summer, all the old surf films. Not even that sophisticated. It was just like a little cheap old Craig viewer. And then with on a Sunday, I think we had we had like a moviola, I think. So we just show the original film, and the fade outs we did with dye. Just dipped it frame by frame in this stuff that was called photo fade. And we were so thrilled with ourselves. Wow, look at that, a fade.
Summer means many different things to different people. The thrill and the fun of the sport of surfing.
All the early films, I would personally narrate. We'd rent an auditorium, and I'd sit up on the stage with a tape recorder and play the music and personally narrate the thing. And even with Endless Summer, we did that for like 2 years before we ever got into theatrical release. Some people hated it. It's like one of the critics said it sounded like Howdy Doody. So I guess you either liked it or you hated it. Well, it's funny with the movie thing. When I still lived in the Long Beach area, the neighbors and stuff kind of like, well, when are you gonna get a job? Or, well, I'm making these movies. Yeah. And then Endless Summer, when that came out and got all the publicity, then they all say, we're so proud of you. And I'm thinking, bullshit. It's just because you think I made some money, that's no way to judge anybody. With Endless Summer, we'd have lunch with the critics. And for some reason, all the old critics, the patriarchs, they all loved it. And you'd see these young guys, and you could tell they didn't care much for it. But during the lunch, I'd always go, I don't know what it is with some of these young film critics, but it must be a threat to their masculinity or some, I'd make sort of these backhanded comments, and I could tell I'd read the review that they didn't really want to say anything too bad.
Right. When you came out with Endless Summer, did you know what you had on your hands? Did you know you had the definitive all-time classic of surf movies forever?
No, I had no idea. We premiered it up in LA, and when it was over, I expected people to start clapping and stuff, and there was just dead silence. I'm thinking, oh my God, I've gone to all this work, and they hate it. And then about 15 seconds went by, and they all started cheering and clapping. Whew, thank goodness. But then showing it, it just would, I mentioned this, it just kept drawing more and more and more crowds. And that's what led us to try and think maybe we could go theatrical. But nobody was interested. I won't play anywhere, away from the coast. So we rented a theater in Wichita, Kansas, in the middle of the winter and showed it still in 16. And it broke the theater record, played there in a week, for a week in the middle of a blizzard and broke the theater record that was held by My Fair Lady. And so we thought, well, that'll prove it to him. Well, it didn't. But we thought the distributors and stuff were in California. Then we found out it all happens in New York. So, okay, so we went to New York and rented a theater, borrowed all the money we could, blew it up to 35 millimeter, which you weren't supposed to be able to do at the time, and showed it ourselves in a theater that we just rented. And all the highbrow, like the New Yorker, and I don't even know what they're talking about half the time, but they gave it great reviews and stuff. And it played there for a year in that one theater, and it was a theater we could afford, but it was kind of a rundown neighborhood. Well, it was urban renewal, all the little stores and stuff. When it closed after a year, all the local merchants called up and sang a song, like it was amazing.
You can't tell how good a wave is till you actually ride it. On Mike's first ride, the first 5 seconds, he knew he'd finally found that perfect wave.
I didn't think much about it at the time, but I think it struck people. I run across people who go, I was working as a lawyer in L.A. and I saw that movie, and I think they're going to say I took up surfing. So I moved to Wyoming, became a cowboy. I think it's maybe follow your dream, just how it affected people. I'm not sure. I mean, that wasn't the intention, but I guess it's just a couple of young guys just, taking off.
This is Bruce Brown. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my film.